Can I just
talk at the same time?
Can I just finish what I was saying so that I don't
6,000 Canadians so that I
don't lose my thought? The point is,
it's the more insidious, secret partisan behavior of very liberal-dominated newsrooms working at the supposed...
The drama on The View hit its peak this week, turning into an unforgettable spectacle. Tensions ran high, voices clashed, and the atmosphere was thick with intensity as Sunny Hostin and Farrah Griffin locked horns in one of the most heated on-air confrontations in recent memory. This wasn't just a typical debate. It was a full-blown verbal showdown where neither side showed any signs of backing down. The explosive exchange left viewers stunned, but what exactly triggered it? And how did things spiral out of control? Let's break it all down.
Those immigrants or those migrants look a certain way. So it seems to me this was never really just about immigration. It was about a certain type of immigrant. And so now we have these
I just clarify, though?
Can I finish talking?
Yes.
It all started innocently enough, or, well, as innocent as debates on the...
It all began on a seemingly routine note, or at least as routine as debates on The View can be. The panel had just launched into a discussion about President Donald Trump's latest immigration proposal, a so-called gold card that would grant residency to those willing to pay an astonishing $5 million. This wasn't just any green card. It was being framed as an exclusive VIP pass to citizenship for the ultra-wealthy. Unsurprisingly, the topic quickly sparked controversy, and the co-hosts wasted no time sharing their opinions. Sunny Hostin, known for her bold takes, didn't hold back. She fiercely criticized the proposal, branding it the most expensive golden visa, and questioning its fairness. To her, it was yet another way to cater to the elite, while overlooking the struggles of hardworking immigrants who have spent years contributing to the country.
Farrah Griffin jumped in to interject, and that's when the sparks really started to fly. Alyssa, the show's conservative voice and a former Trump administration official, claimed that Sunny's argument missed the mark. She asserted that it was a misnomer and that Canadians were not the ones coming across the northern border. Instead, the real issue was with people from countries like Mexico and India using the northern...
But before Sunny could even finish her point, Alyssa Farrah Griffin jumped in to interrupt, and that's when the sparks truly started to fly. As the show's conservative voice and a former Trump administration official, Alyssa pushed back, arguing that Sunny's take was off the mark. She insisted that the debate was being misframed, pointing out that it wasn't Canadians crossing the northern border, but rather individuals from countries like Mexico and India, using it as an alternative entry route. And just like that, the discussion took a sharp turn, unraveling into a chaotic exchange where neither side was willing to back down.
Are we really doing this right now?
I think that there's such a desire. If you really think the vast majority of this country voted because of racism and misogyny, you're missing it. Most of my family, a lot of my family doesn't have college degrees.
But the stats are the stats.
But that's not, it doesn't say I voted for Donald Trump because of racism. That's not, let me just ask, what stat are you talking about?
Let me just dissect the two.
Yes, you can. There's a lot
Hold on. Calm down.
Sunny, visibly frustrated, tried to regain control of the conversation, but Alyssa cut in once again. With a sharp and exasperated tone, Sunny firmly asked for the chance to finish her point without being interrupted, a plea for just a moment of uninterrupted airtime. But even that didn't seem to slow things down. Alyssa stood her ground, and the interruptions continued, escalating the tension further. By this point, the other co-hosts, including Whoopi Goldberg, were starting to look uneasy, exchanging glances as if to silently ask, "Are we really doing this right now?"
Returned, Whoopi addressed the elephant in the room, telling the audience one of the joys of this gig is that there's never enough time to get everything.
Things escalated even further when Sunny, clearly frustrated, raised her voice and threw her hands up. "Can I finish talking?" she demanded, this time more forcefully. The tension in the room was undeniable. Alyssa fell silent for a moment, but the intensity between them was unmistakable. Both were visibly seething. Just when it seemed the situation couldn't get any more heated, Whoopi Goldberg stepped in, attempting to restore some order. "Hold on a second. Just let me finish now," she said, this time directing her words at Alyssa, who had just interrupted her as well. The audience let out a collective gasp. Was this still a debate? Or had it turned into an all-out shouting match? Even during the commercial break, the tension didn't seem to ease. When the show returned, Whoopi addressed the obvious drama with a diplomatic yet pointed remark. One of the joys of this gig is that there's never enough time to say everything because people are passionate and want to talk. Her tone was lighthearted, but the underlying message was clear. The co-hosts needed to rein it in. Alyssa, perhaps realizing she had crossed a line, offered a half-hearted apology. "I know it gets heated, and I don't mean to step on people when I do. I'm working on interrupting," she admitted, her voice noticeably softer. But Sunny didn't seem entirely convinced. She sat quietly, her expression icy, one that could stop anyone in their tracks.
Based on their appearance, rather than focusing on the broader issue of reform. But Alyssa wasn't done yet. "Can I just clarify, though?" she asked, cutting Sunny off once again. This time, Sunny didn't even try to hide her frustration. "Can I finish talking?" she snapped, her tone leaving no room for argument.
What made this clash even more intense was the long-standing tension between Sunny and Alyssa, something that had been simmering for months. This wasn't their first heated exchange, and it likely wouldn't be their last. As a former Trump official, Alyssa often found herself at odds with the more liberal voices on the panel, especially Sunny. Their disagreements had ranged from policy debates to personal jabs, but this latest confrontation felt different, like it had crossed a new line. The interruptions weren't just about differing opinions. They felt personal, almost like a battle for dominance at the table. Despite the chaos, Sunny tried to steer the conversation back to her original point. "It seems to me," she began, her voice steady but ice cold, "this was never really just about immigration. It's about a certain type of immigrant." She accused Trump's immigration policies of targeting specific groups based on their appearance rather than addressing broader reform. But Alyssa wasn't done yet. "Can I just clarify, though?" she interjected, cutting Sunny off once again. This time, Sunny didn't even try to mask her frustration. "Can I finish talking?" she snapped, her tone sharp and unwavering. Alyssa finally fell silent, but the damage had already been done. Even Whoopi, who usually plays the role of mediator, seemed to have reached her limit. Throwing up her hands in exasperation, she declared, "I want somebody to make a decision about immigration." Her frustration resonated with the audience, who erupted into applause at her impassioned remarks. But rather than easing the tension, the reaction only seemed to amplify it, leaving the set charged with unresolved frustration.
Adding fuel to the fire. And let's be real, Sunny's name has become synonymous with drama, whether it's on-air clashes or swirling rumors off-screen. But how did we get here? Let's dig into the tangled web of controversies that have followed Sunny for years, including some jaw-dropping accusations that might just leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about her.
Bachelor's degree, require teachers to have training.
By the time the segment ended, the toll of the clash was evident on everyone involved. Sunny leaned back in her chair, arms crossed, refusing to engage any further. Alyssa, on the other hand, seemed eager to explain herself, but the opportunity never came. As the show cut to another commercial break, one question lingered in the air. Had this argument gone too far? And what would the fallout be? But the drama didn't stop there. Backstage rumors suggest that tensions only escalated during the break, with producers stepping in to mediate the situation. While the exact details remain unclear, one thing was certain. This was far from an ordinary day on The View. The tension between Sunny and Alyssa isn't just about politics anymore. It's personal, and it's only getting worse. As the credits rolled, fans flooded social media with their reactions, with many calling it one of the most explosive episodes in recent history.
Descending and divisive, social media erupted with criticism, and even some of Sunny's co-hosts seemed visibly uncomfortable. But did Sunny back down? Of course not. In fact, she doubled down on her comments, insisting that the stats are the stats.
I think he doesn't want to, he's not going to say that J.D. Vance is...
Sunny Hostin has never shied away from controversy, but lately, it seems like she's been at the center of it all. if her fiery exchange with Alyssa Farah Griffin on The View wasn't enough to keep audiences buzzing, her history of bold statements and headline-making moments has only added fuel to the fire. Let's be real. Sunny's name has become almost synonymous with drama, whether it's explosive on-air clashes or swirling rumors behind the scenes. But how did we get to this point? It's time to unravel the tangled web of controversies that have followed her for years, including some jaw-dropping accusations that just might make you question everything you thought you knew.
Amplifying a complex issue. The backlash was swift and relentless, with critics accusing her of alienating large segments.
To truly understand Sunny Hostin's polarizing presence, you have to look at her long history of making waves with her outspoken opinions. Her tenure on The View has been filled with moments where her bluntness and unwavering stance have left audiences divided. Whether you love her or hate her, one thing is undeniable. Sunny is unapologetically herself. But that very quality has also landed her in hot water time and again. Take, for instance, her infamous remarks about voting demographics during a heated discussion on Donald Trump's election victories, when she implied that non-college educated white women were largely responsible for voting Trump into office. The backlash was immediate. Viewers called her comments condescending and divisive, with social media erupting in criticism. Even some of her co-hosts appeared visibly uncomfortable. Did Sunny back down? Of course not. Instead, she doubled down, insisting, "The stats are the stats."
Occasionally clashed with the more laid-back approach of co-hosts like Sarah Haynes, leading to moments of awkwardness both on.
Sunny's polarizing commentary didn't stop there. In another eyebrow-raising moment, she sparked debate by highlighting the racial divide in voter turnout, arguing that Trump's policies were crafted to appeal to a specific demographic. "It's not just about economics," she passionately declared during one episode. "It's about identity. It's about who feels like they belong and who doesn't." While some viewers applauded her for addressing what they saw as an uncomfortable truth, others accused her of oversimplifying a complex issue. The backlash was swift and relentless, with critics claiming she was alienating large segments of the audience. But Sunny remained unfazed. Instead of backing down, she leaned even further into the controversy, standing by her words in subsequent episodes.
That Sunny's perspective was reductive and ignored the complexities of voter behavior. The two went back and forth, with Alyssa throwing her hands up in frustration and Sunny.
What's fascinating is how Sunny's unapologetic approach has both bolstered and complicated her public image. While her supporters laud her for speaking truth to power, her detractors accuse her of being tone-deaf and divisive. Behind the scenes, producers reportedly see her as a double-edged sword. She's a ratings magnet, one insider shared, but at what cost? There's always the risk of going too far and alienating the show's broader audience. And yet, Sunny's willingness to tackle difficult topics head-on is part of what makes her so compelling to watch. Whether she's loved or loathed, one thing is clear: she's a force to be reckoned with. But even Sunny's most loyal fans were caught off guard when rumors began swirling about rising tensions between her and her co-hosts. Disagreements on The View are nothing new, but whispers of behind-the-scenes friction have added a fresh layer of intrigue to the show's already dramatic dynamic. Sources claim that Sunny's fiery personality has occasionally clashed with the more laid-back approach of co-hosts like Sarah Haynes, leading to awkward moments both on and off the air. And then there's Whoopi Goldberg, who, despite her best efforts to play peacemaker, has reportedly grown frustrated with the constant bickering.
Her husband. In a fiery statement, she accused the insurance company American Transit of filing the lawsuit as part of a smear campaign.
That's classic Sunny, always ready to stand her ground, no matter the backlash. But this insistence on speaking her truth has also made her a lightning rod for accusations of bias and even prejudice. Over the years, critics have accused her of making broad generalizations, particularly on sensitive topics like race and gender. One of the most explosive moments came when she suggested that Latino voters who supported Trump were influenced by what she described as sexism and misogyny within their culture. The comment didn't just spark outrage, it led to a full-blown clash with Alyssa Farah Griffin, who argued that Sunny's perspective was reductive and ignored the complexities of voter behavior. The two went back and forth, with Alyssa throwing her hands up in frustration and Sunny refusing to budge. Dined? Was one of those moments where you could feel the tension radiating through the screen.
Gets magnified tenfold.
So we know Sunny Hostin and her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, are preparing for a legal battle.
But here's the thing. Sunny isn't just a divisive figure. She's also incredibly strategic. No matter the criticism, she has a knack for keeping people talking, which is likely one of the reasons the show's producers continue to support her. Insiders suggest that controversy fuels the show's success, and Sunny's unfiltered opinions are a major reason viewers keep tuning in. She's voicing what so many people in the US are thinking right now, one source reportedly shared, adding that the show is heading toward a surge in viewership and renewed relevance. And honestly, they're not wrong. Love her or hate her, Sunny knows how to make headlines. Still, the question remains, how much longer can she walk this fine line? With the lawsuit against her husband looming and her on-air clashes growing more frequent and intense, something has to give. Will Sunny manage to weather the storm, or could this be the beginning of the end for her time on The View? And as for her relationship with Alyssa Farah Griffin, after their latest fiery exchange, it's hard to imagine the two finding common ground anytime soon.
Is doing her part to voice the views of so many people in the US right now, one source reportedly told the press. The show is gearing up for a resurgence in
One thing is certain, Sunny Hostin isn't backing down without a fight. Whether she's clashing with her co-hosts, defending her husband, or firing back at critics, she has repeatedly shown that she won't be silenced. But as controversies continue to mount, the stakes are getting higher, and the scrutiny is only intensifying. What's next for Sunny? Share your thoughts below and join the discussion.